Okay, this is Good Cops versus Bad Cops War, Part 4. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll these dice. We have a lock, we have a moon, we have a content face. Okay, so what God told me before I rolled these dice is that somebody contacted some good cops with a lead on these bad cops. But the lead was misleading because this person who called said, I know for a fact that these bad cops have gang connections to gang such and such. And these bad cops don't have any direct links with any gangs. They're smarter than that. So they're like, yeah, I don't know, the Crystal Chandelier Gang. I don't know. I don't know the name of, but they said, this person called the FBI and said, I've been speaking with so-and-so, and so-and-so told me that these bad cops have connections to the Crystal Chandelier Gang, or whatever it's called, okay? And the FBI decided that they wanted to look into it. So they did. And they informed these bad cops that they're being investigated to see if they do have ties to this gang, to this Crystal Chandelier Gang or whatever. Okay? And the investigation found that there were no direct connections to the Crystal Chandelier Gang, and they couldn't even find any indirect connections to this Crystal Chandelier Gang. And because these criminals are smart and they don't deal with gangs directly. These bad cops are smart, okay? But these good cops really thought this was an accurate lead. But while investigating this, even though they found that these bad cops didn't have any connections to that gang, they did find something else, and it was more disturbing. So now these officers are on house arrest for some very heinous crimes. And the reason that they're on house arrest is because their federal lawyers were able to say that there's a reasonable doubt here because my clients were originally told that they were being investigated for being involved in the Crystal Chandelier Gang, and the investigation concluded that there are no ties to the Crystal Chandelier Gang. And so these other heinous acts that were uncovered during this investigation, the federal lawyers are saying, number one, it needs to be thrown out because there was no tie to this heinous acts, this heinous acts thing has no ties to this gang affiliation thing. And so now my clients have been falsely accused on both ends, is what they're saying. So that's why these officers are on house arrest. Now, had this person not called and given this false claim that these officers were in the Crystal Chandelier Gang, the investigation probably would have concluded that these officers are just guilty of these heinous crimes, therefore lock them up and throw away the key. Okay, so am I a morning person or a late night person? Came out reversed. And then we have tune into your inner peace reversed, and we have Today holds unlimited possibilities to see the beauty in life reversed. Okay, so these bad cops could have been literally kidnapping people and holding them somewhere and preventing these people from tuning into their inner peace and preventing them from seeing the beauty in life because they've been held captive. And that's what the investigation found. They found that they had been linked to some type of kidnapping or human trafficking. But their lawyers have a good shot at getting it thrown out because the initial investigation was to try to find these officers to be gang affiliated. And the original investigator who was investigating this, that's what he specialized in. Because this person called and gave a false report and said, well, I'm friends with so-and-so, and I've gotten to know so-and-so very well. And so-and-so told me that officers A, B, C, D, E, and F have direct ties to the Crystal Chandelier gang, and you guys need to look into it. So then these federal officers these federal agents or whatever tell these officers A, B, C, D, E, and F, you're being investigated to see if you have ties to this gang. And somehow they were on one of their properties. So they searched an officer's property, or more than one officer's property, and found literal, okay, this is a vision. I don't know if this is happening or not. In my vision, they find literal kidnapped people on these people's properties. But these kidnapped people are not inside the house. And these officers, these bad cops, they own very large properties, and they even own mountains. So in their younger years, these officers owned these properties, these mountains. Some of them they inherited, and they would mine their own gold and they would mine their own crystals because they have more than one mountain on their property. They own these mountains, or at least a section of these mountains at the very least. Okay, so then these federal investigators find literally kidnapped people in the mountains, in caves, on these properties, because these bad cops were having these people mine their gold and dig their crystals for them. But because the initial investigation was over gang affiliation, and because these properties that these bad cops own was so vast, I'm hearing something about 203 acres, or even bigger than that. I'm hearing $203 million property. Okay. These officers are able to say, I didn't know that was going on my property. I didn't know there was kidnapped people at the top of my mountain that I own. My house is way over there. My house is literally 200 miles away. It's a 203 square mile property, or 203 mile property, or whatever, 203 acres, whatever. My home is 200 acres that way. There's 3 acres that way. Like, how am I supposed to know that these kidnapped people were at the top of this mountain? And they're saying, you need to investigate and find out who put these people on my property. And because the initial investigation was over gang affiliation, that was enough to create a reasonable doubt to where the judge gave them house arrest. Because there's not enough evidence to prove that they put them there. It's not like they were in the basement. They weren't even in their house. It's not even like they were in their backyard. They were 200 acres away. they did do it. These bad cops did do this. But that's going to be really hard to prove. So the lock means lockdown. Okay, these officers have been put on house arrest, so they're in some type of lockdown situation. But the federal agents that were investigating this, when they found out that there were kidnapped people on this property, they thought that these people were going to be in actual lockdown in like federal prison, on lockdown in like high security lockdown prison on death row, because there were also deceased individuals on this property. And it's proven that they were there, but they can't prove how they got there. Okay? And if they try to say, well, we have satellite evidence, they'll just try to argue that the satellite evidence is false. The moon means that these kidnapped people were in this one specific location both day and night. They had no freedom. They'd been taken completely captive. And then this means that these officers are fairly confident that they're going to get away with this. A magnet also looks like the letter U, okay? These are some obsessive stalkers. These officers, these bad cops are some obsessive stalkers that stalk their prey like a magnet, okay? They're intelligent. There's a book here. These bad cops are intelligent, unfortunately. And then, yeah, this came out again. They're fairly confident that they're going to be able to get away with this. And they knew all along that if somebody did find these people on this mountain, that they'd probably be able to talk their way out of it. You know, I haven't gone up there in years. I haven't gone up that mountain in years. I stay roughly within 5 acres for the most part. And, there's 12 mountains on my property, and I only regularly hike one of them. Even the judge isn't sure if these bad cops are actually guilty or not. And that's one reason why the judge put them on house arrest, because honestly, the judge, not only is there a reasonable doubt there, but the judge is honestly like, the judge doesn't know. The judge doesn't know. Bear upright and a safe. Okay, so he's like, there's bears up there. I don't go over there. He's like saying that he shoots on his property or makes some type of loud sounds that sounds like fireworks or something. He does that regularly on his property in the air or something strange like that. Or fireworks or loud sounds scare off bears. And so he does something around a certain mile radius of his property to scare off the wildlife, but he knows that he can't do that on all 203 acres or whatever. So he says, I don't even go up that mountain because there's bears. There's bears up there. And he's he goes on 4-wheelers. I ride on 4-wheelers, and the 4-wheeler sound scares away the bears. Right? But I only go within 25 acres. I only go 25 acres that way, and then I come back on my 4-wheeler. And that's part of how I control the animal population on my property. And this made sense to the judge because the judge might also own a large property, and the judge is probably a straight judge, but the judge understands what he's saying. And the truth is that this bad cop is responsible, but he's using the bear excuse. And it seems to check out. Fox. Upright. Okay, this guy's a sly fox who's really good at hiding behind a mask. And it, honestly, this gang affiliation thing, false accusation, is working in this bad cop's favor, because now it looks like whoever made the accusation set him up. That's what it looks like. You should never call the police with some type of false accusation, or the FBI, about somebody, because even if you know that that person is guilty of something, you need to tell them what they're guilty of, not this person's in the Crystal Chandelier gang. You need to tell them this person is a homicidal maniac who has kidnapped individuals on their property. You need to just say that. Not they're some little rinky-dink idiot in a gang. Moon sideways with a trophy sideways. The number 32 is here. We have also the number 8 of hearts. Something about, he said, well, it's dark out and I can't see. Okay, someone was trying to say that in the middle of the night they saw him climbing this mountain where these kidnapped people were found, and he's like, well, it's dark out and I can't see. And then he's also pretending to have amnesia in court. Do you know where I am? Like, while he's being questioned, do you know where I am? I can't remember my identity right now. He is playing the victim. And now this judge has to wonder if the bad cops, or if the bad cops are the good cops and the good cops are the bad cops. This judge knows this bad cop very well. Okay? He doesn't know these good cops. He's trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. He's thinking that this serial K bad cop with incredible acting skills, he thinks that he's a good guy. You might even be friends with him. And that's dangerous. It's why you don't call the FBI and give them a false report that so-and-so's in a gang. You're telling me that some dude with 203 acres who owns mountains, who literally has gold in the mountains that he owns and crystals in the mountains that he owns, and has a history, a record of selling gold and selling crystals that he's mined himself, you're telling me that that person is gang affiliated? That person doesn't need to be gang affiliated. That person is an independent homicidal maniac. You don't take them down. You can't take them down with normal methods of the justice system. And the FBI would have known that if someone didn't lie and say so-and-so's in the Crystal Chandelier gang. Yeah, they're in the Crystal Chandelier gang because they mine their own crystals and make chandeliers. What does that even mean? Pet reversed. This guy, he has pets. This guy is so good at hiding his evil nature. This guy frequently has people visit his home. This bad cop has people frequently visit his home, and he has judges visit his home. He has other officers over. And he picks and chooses who he's going to snap on. Okay, he's not going to snap on everybody that comes in his home. The majority of the people that come in his home are actually safe. And that's why he has these pets. It came out reversed because he doesn't care about these pets. But what he cares about is his reputation. And that when this judge comes over to his house, he sees the same 13-year-old golden retriever in good health. And why would some dude like this take care of a pet for 13 years? It's the same dog. Okay? This is some weird energy here. This is some very strange energy. Dang, I'm already over 20 minutes.